Hi, it's the Raskin Vegan Gal here, and today is the final part. This is part number 10 of what I call Heal Yourself in 10 Steps, my healthy living topic. It's based on a book by Dr. Lissa Raskin called Mind Over Medicine, Scientific Proof That You Can Heal Yourself. So this is the final part, so hopefully you'll go back in any order. I don't think one really follows into the other. I think you could really go in any order, but hopefully you will check them all out and learn. I mean, I've learned a lot just from going through them myself and to help you along your journey. So this one's called Once You Diagnose What Is Out of Whack, which actually does go kind of follow after number 9. So once you diagnose what is out of whack, meaning, not working right or not functioning, it's time to write the prescription for yourself. I like how she writes that. Write the prescription. And also, I don't know if she did this on purpose, like with the other one, she was saying something about your truth, but she says prescription for yourself. So I'm just thinking about that you write it, not that you have a doctor who tells you what you need, writes you a, the prescription you usually think is a medical prescription, take this drug or medication, and I always joke with that. And if you do still go to the doctor and he does give you a prescription, you could say very matter-of-factly and very seriously, put on a real serious face and go look to the doctor and say, "Doctor, have you ever taken this medication?" He'll likely say no. And then I'll say, "Well, why should I?" Meaning, am I your guinea pig? I'm going to take something you've never tried and you don't know if it's actually going to be good for you or helps you, doesn't have side effects or, horrible things that can cause your body. So that's my thing. I say, if you haven't taken it, why should I? So I'm definitely not about taking medication. I'm about doing things more naturally. Of course, in certain extreme circumstances, you may need to take certain things, and that's understandable, but long term you shouldn't be getting hooked on things that are going to cause your body more harm. So it is once you diagnose it, and this actually does follow from 9. So what I talked about in that last one is about diagnosing what the root cause of what's going on that's not working. So then once you figure out what it is, then you have to find out what would be the right prescription for yourself. So what that would involve is doing a lot of research too. If you yourself don't have the knowledge, especially in what we call either natural medicine, holistic medicine, complementary, there's many different types, then you may need to seek out some help somewhere of some experts who do have the knowledge, the background, and the experience, and also people who may have had similar situations, life situations they've gone through, or diseases, or illnesses, or whatever, problems, so that you can use them as a role model. Like maybe they were able to overcome what they were dealing with using different tools and steps and techniques. So you might want to learn from them, or you may want to go to places that offer that type of service. For example, there's Hippocrates Health Institute in West Palm Beach, Florida. So they do a whole body, mind, spirit type program where it helps people heal of all different types of ailments, everything you could think of. They've worked with people and they have programs. So you might want to go that, or maybe have a friend who's gone through something, or like a support group, or a group of people. So you may need other people to help you figure out. Not that you shouldn't write the prescription for yourself, because that's what she says. You should write it. It's time to write it for yourself, meaning you decide what works for you. So basically, so let's say you have something wrong. So you say, okay, I have all these different areas that might help me. So you say food, number 1. Okay, let's say, I'm not saying that that's the priority, but let's say, okay, food. So then you look into that, say, okay, what's going wrong, and maybe I have to change this and change that. Maybe my mood isn't right. Maybe this is affecting that, and change things and see how you feel physically. And then you may want to look at other parts. Say, okay, that's just the physical part. Now let's look at the emotional part. Like, how are my relationships? How are my connections? Who am I around? Are they positive for me, negative for me? Are they causing things that I don't want to have in my life? So what it is you look through all those different parts of your own life, your job, your whatever, your family, and then from there figure out what you need to do in order to help yourself. So you write the prescription for your own healing, and sit down and actually physically write it. Or if you type on a computer, iPad, but have it something that you could physically look at and print it out if you want to write it by hand, or again type it. But like this, you have your own little chart, and then you could make your own timeline and say, okay, I'm going to start working on this now. Okay, this week I'm going to start working on this, and then add something, and then, you know, don't want to overwhelm yourself and try to do everything at once, because it's not possible. Like, you have to build up on it. So take things each step at a time and find what works for you. And then if you try something and you write your prescription and you figure out, oh, this maybe isn't working exactly as I thought, keep notes too. Like, let's say you start eating a certain food that you think was going to help you, but then you find out it doesn't. And that's another thing, is if you're going to start doing things with your different types of like vitamins and minerals, I'm not big on taking supplements, but the food, using the food as the means for your health, is then you may want to have your body tested for the levels of your vitamins and minerals. But again, it's all relative. Unfortunately, it doesn't always equate to the type of food eating that you do. If you're vegan, vegetarian, raw vegan, not non-vegan, you know, non-vegetarian, it may be different. So what they look at when they have their charts made up, they're not necessarily for all those types of people, so it may not equate, but at least it's just a frame of reference, and then you can see if what you're doing is working. So that might be helpful to you in that sense, because then if you see that it's not, then you may want to shift something and say, okay, maybe I do need more protein, maybe I need less of this, maybe I need more of that, you know, whatever you might think might help. But if you see that things get better for you in certain ways, not just physically, then you continue with that. But I think it's good to chart your progress and keep a journal and write how you feel, what you were experiencing, and see what it relates to, and then you can try to work through that. I think that's very important, that you find what works for you. Not like, well, so-and-so did it this way and so-and-so did it that way, and they had results. Well, that's great for them, but is it going to work for you? Because we're all different. Not to say that what they're doing might not help. Not to say, so let me rephrase it. Not to say that what they're doing wouldn't necessarily help you, but you have to see for yourself if it will. Not go by just the generalized, universal, like everyone is eating X, so I guess everyone should be eating X. No, not necessarily. Maybe it's very bad for you, but because everyone thinks it's okay, everyone is eating it, because it becomes like the norm. So that's not what you want to do. You want to make it work for you, you personally, you know, in all the aspects of who you are. So I hope that you enjoyed this series. I actually very much enjoyed doing it, and that you know, try to implement some of these things and see how they work for you. And you're always welcome to leave comments or thoughts below the videos if you've used some of these tools yourself and what results you've had from them. And I thank you for watching. It's the Rawesome Vegan Gal.